Yo, what's good, tech fam? Welcome back to Gadgetools Unlimited, where we break down the realest career advice, tech insights, and at times some of the wildest stories from the trenches of the working world of tech. Now, this time, I got 12 crazy interview stories for you, divided into 3 categories: awkward, bad, and funny. So without too much ado, we're going to get right into these. Now, we all know that job interviews can be nerve-wracking, especially when you don't know what to expect, right? Or you didn't prepare very well. That is a thing. But if you did prepare, you spent hours doing it, perfecting your answers and practicing that firm, but not too firm handshake. But sometimes no amount of preparation can save you from the pure interview hiccups and the chaos that ensues when you get too nervous to even continue. So today I got some of the craziest, funniest, and most straight up bizarre interview fails that'll make you rethink everything you think you know about the hiring process. So let's get into it. And don't forget to smash the like button, because trust me, these stories deserve a like or two. First category: awkward interview stories. First on the list is the forgotten candidate. So picture this: you get set up for an interview. You show up to the interview place. You suited and booted, ready to go, ready to impress. You meet the receptionist. They take you to the meeting room and say, the interviewer will be right with you. And then you lean back, you square up your shoulders and you just gonna wait. And then you wait and you wait some more until finally about 30 minutes then pass. And you like, did they forget I'm in here, or screw this, I'm leaving. You get up, you start heading out. On the way out, you bump into the dude that's supposed to be interviewing you. He got a cup of Starbucks and a bag full of donuts. Out here living his best life, completely forgot he had an interview. You've been sitting in there the whole time for nothing. Can you imagine your future boss forgetting you existed before you ever even got hired? I don't know if you should take that as a red flag or not. You might want to just go ahead and mosey on out the front door. Get up out of here, Sam. Because if that's how the interview went, you can imagine what's going to happen in the job. Hope you don't need it too bad. But if you do, then hey, you can roll the dice for sure. Story number 2, the silent stare down. So this candidate in the interview room, and he decides that he's going to answer every question with a long, uncomfortable stare. So this was about to turn into a high-stakes game of a blinking contest, right? And guess what? The candidate lost. The interviewer was so weirded out by him, he asked him a couple questions, like, all right, that's all we need. We'll be in touch. Needless to say, I don't think fam got that job. I get wanting to establish dominance, man, but maybe starting with a firm handshake before you go all crazy Jedi mind trick will be more beneficial in an interview setting. You feel what I'm saying? If that's the advice I would offer. But coming up next, the mystery phone call. So this dude is in the interview. Things are going good. They interacting. The interviewer asking questions, he answering. Next thing you know, his phone ring out of nowhere. Well, no big deal, right? He forgot to turn his ringer off, right? All you got to do is silence that boy. We can move right on. But nah, fam, not this guy. He's a phone bro. He answered the call and proceeded to have a full-on conversation about the plans for the weekend with whoever was on the other line. Yeah, bro, we about to hit it up. We gonna throw this little party, have the schmoney's over, you feel me? Then he like, oh, wait a minute. I forgot, I'm in an interview. Anyway, so who bringing the beer and whatnot? Bam, kept right on talking. The interviewer had to interrupt him. I don't think they're gonna be calling you back, bro. They're gonna give you the cold shoulder. Coming up next, the clown candidate. Now, this is unbelievable. But in this day and age, maybe it's not so unbelievable. Candidate shows up to the job interview wearing a full-on clown costume. I'm talking about red nose, big ass shoes, the whole 9 yards. When they asked him, bro, what are you doing? What's the idea here with the clown get up? This fool said, I wanted to show I'm not afraid of anything. What? Yeah. I need to know what role you here to interview for, because unless you apply for circus master, this here what you're doing, this ain't it, fam. I already know we won't be calling you back. Okay? I don't even know if I'd do that interview. I might just come up with an excuse like, oh, we got an emergency. We're going to reschedule this interview, whereby you never hear from us again. You feel me? All right, coming up, the next category is bad interview story, right? And the first story is about the mama's boy, right? You probably already know where this going. Little dude show up to the interview with his OG. He got mom, all the way in the office, sitting there waiting for him to get called, actually. Okay, she gave you a ride. You need a ride home. She waiting for you so she can take you home when the interview get over, right? I know that's what's going on. Nah, fam. They say, fam, okay, we ready for you. Come on in. Tell me why buddy turn around and say, can my mom come here with me? Nah, fam. No, your mom can't come in here. Is your mom interviewing for a job? Oh, okay. Ain't no way you finna lead a team if you can't even do the interview by yourself without mom being being there for emotional support or whatever you thought you was doing. You ain't giving confidence, my boy. So you probably ain't gonna get called back either, okay? You gonna be back on the job board, right? Up next, number 2, the inattentive interview. I ain't never really experienced this in a one-on-one interview, but when you in an interview panel, I could see how something like this could happen because, one person's talking, other people waiting for a turn, they get bored, they ain't listening, whatever the case might be, right? But imagine trying to give your very best answer to some intricate behavior questions that they gave you and you trying to impress. You start giving your answer, you look up, the interviewer is scrolling through the phone. Now, you can't see what he's scrolling through. It could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, it could be YouTube, whatever, but it looked like he enjoying himself, right? So at one point, you like, did I come into the wrong interview room? This can't be, I know this ain't the interview. So you candidate speaks up and says, am I interrupting your doom scrolling session or are we actually gonna have an interview here? You know what I'm saying? And the interviewer made up some BS story. I'm sorry. Looks like we had an emergency going on. I got a bunch of pop-ups in the Slack app, and I was just reading to make sure I didn't need to, run out and take care of some business. Yeah, all right, I believe you. Nah, I don't believe you. So, in a situation like that, you can probably already tell they probably ain't even really hiring for this job. They just going through the motions. We got to interview some people, or we didn't already chose who we want, and you just wanted the extras, right? So I got to interview you, but fam, I can care less. So if you getting them kind of vibes in your interview, you might well just get on up out of there, fam. I wouldn't even, nope. See y'all later. Coming up next, the tell me about yourself disaster. Now, this candidate in the interview, and the question, tell us a little about yourself. You know what I'm saying? But he get asked the question and he completely forgot he was interviewing for a job, forgot all about the job experience, everything. Went on a 10-minute TED talk about his vacation and the food that he ate and his family tree, and their grandpa was in World War II, all kind of stuff, right? So eventually the interviewer had to interrupt him like, excuse me, that's all nice and stuff, but why don't you tell us about your previous experience? We see you got this, that, and the other. I know the interviewer was like, fam, I ain't come here to hear this. I didn't come here to hear the rundown of your summer vacation to Cabo. I came to interview you for this role that we need to fit. So I could see how that could be a little frustrating to an interviewer. I know I would have been like, you can go ahead and get up out of here, Sam. All right, coming up next, the overconfident and underqualified. And if you've been in tech for any amount of time, you definitely did have seen this before. I've seen this a lot of times. And not only the overconfident and qualified, but the hating on your qualifications too, I've seen. So this dude, he loaded up his resume, padded it up real nice. Got a call back in an interview setup. Claimed he had 5 years experience in cybersecurity. That's a salted Security professional there, what company wouldn't want them, right? Yeah. When they start asking him basic security questions, he couldn't answer a single one of them. The fool had the nerve to say, I thought this interview was about my personality, not my skills. Where you get that idea from, fam? Is your cousin the CEO or something? You think cybersecurity is just all about vibes and confidence. Got to be, right? Come on, fam, you tripping. I understand, lightly padding your resume or putting skills that you have a outside kind of gentle touch knowledge of, but fam, talking about you a professional with 5 years experience and you don't even know what they talking about when they ask you basic cybersecurity questions. Come on, how you thought you were gonna pass an interview? Not gonna happen, buddy. Next. And so the last category is funny interview story. And the first one on the list is the accidental flasher. And you probably can feel where this one going to, right? This is in the era of the new era where remote interviews are a thing, right? This is not uncommon at all. People get interviews via remote all the time, right? But it can be a blessing and a curse, as many people have found out very famously on these internet streets. Now, one candidate learned it the hard way, of course, when they in the middle of the interview, he looking around because he need to write something down. I ain't got no pencil right here in front of me. He got a shelf right up here above him. He stand up to get a pen off the shelf, ain't got no pants on. Boxer action. Little slit in the middle and everything. Oh yeah. The whole interview panel got an eye full. Family, just because it's a remote interview do not mean pants are optional. Wear your pants, fam, or you gonna get embarrassed like my man's just did. Next story, the animal whisperer. One candidate brought their pet parrot to the interview with a fam. I don't know if he thought this was gonna be funny, it was gonna build some kind of rapport with him and the interviewer. So they go in there. Cute little parrot, he able to say human phrases and say things. He can train the little parrot and stuff. They get to doing the interview. They in the middle of the interview, they talk. Fam, interviewer asking the questions. The parrot is answering some of the questions better than the actual candidate. Apparently, he been practicing with the parrot, and the parrot remember the answers better than he did, apparently, because, you know what I'm saying, the parrot jumped in and answered the question before he could. That's got to be the funniest interview anybody that ever did. Can you imagine the company being like, okay, y'all finish the interview, you go home. They send you an email. Oh, thank you for applying for such and such role. We're sorry. We're going to have to pass on you. But is your parent looking for a gig? We might have an internship he can do. You know what I'm saying? How would you feel if your pet got a damn job and you didn't? Coming up next, the Satan slip up, right? This is a common thing. You know how sometimes you mispronounce or you missay some things. Got something on your mind, but you're talking about something else and you say the thing that's on your mind. We probably done that before, right? So we got a candidate. He was asked a question about, the previous company or the company he currently worked at and his close leadership, his boss. And the woman's name was Sandra. Instead of saying Sandra, he messed up and referred to her as Satan, right? And so you can imagine in an interview, he's like, my boss, Satan, blase Skippy, he probably was bad-mouthing her and some more stuff. But it really could have been an honest slip up. But, I might have bust out laughing based on the context of how he was explaining. So coming up next, the unexpected magic trick. Now, this is wild. This is real wild, right? So imagine this. You interviewing somebody. You go ahead and send out the interview request. They accept, boom, boom, boom. They show up in a full-blooded tuxedo, right? But he got a whole tuxedo on. Top hat and the whole nine. Okay. You might be like, wow, he really dressed up there, didn't he? Maybe he's just excited about the role. Maybe he's excited about joining the company and he just put it all the way to 9.9959, right? You might be like, that's really impressive. But, maybe you could have toned it down a little bit, right? So They go into the interview. In the middle of the interview, this dude pull a rabbit out of the top hat, like a real live magic trick. I'm sure the interview was like, yeah, that was cold. That was nice, but I don't really know what that skill translates to this role, if you feel what I'm saying. If it was a cybersecurity role, fam, you're hacking the wrong system, right? That's just crazy, right? And there you have it, family. Some of the most crazy, hilarious, and straight up bizarre job interview stories I could find on the internet. Now, the moral of the story is be prepared, be professional, and by all means, family, wear your pants in your video interviews, okay? And if you like this content, smash the like button, drop a comment about your craziest interview story or a story that you heard that's crazy, that's having to do with an interview. Subscribe for more insights, tech tips, and wild industry stories. And until the next video, Tech Fam, stay sharp, stay professional, and stay out these crazy interview lists. Peace.